from Electrical Lab 2. G'day Mitch, how you going?
Mate.
We're talking about circuit protection. What should you use at the switchboard to actually protect this equipment? Not only your equipment, but actually the cable as well. So that's pretty important. You got single pole and double pole circuit protection that can be installed at the switchboard. We have had a lot of mixed messages from a lot of guys. Yeah, single pole is good. You got 4.5, or can we use 6 kA rating protection devices at the switchboard? It's got nothing to do with the 4.5 or 6 kA. You need to make sure that you get the okay and clarification from the manufacturer, and see if you can get it in writing is probably the best, rather than just them saying, oh yeah, no, it's fine. Just go and grab some of these and this will be fine. Right, can you actually just show me where it says it's for EV charging? Make sure you get it in writing. If you have to, take a photo of it and drop it in the job, in your job management system. Very important. If you're using 32 and it's okay to use, then 6mm cable, not a problem. If you're being told that, look, you really need to go a 40 double pole, then we'd definitely recommend going to 10mm cable. You got any thoughts around any of that, Mitch?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just it's a 32 amp load. It's right on 32, right? So it's going to get hot, and these things are thermal. So, if you're up in Queensland or in a north-facing switchboard or something, you could find that you have a bit of a trip rate. So, we haven't had many dramas with the dual pole, so a little bit more room. But again, we specify in our training that get it away from another large circuit protection. People, if you jam it next to your main switch, which you're not supposed to do anyway, it's just going to just radiate heat and just keep going. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a great point. So if you got your main switch on your left-hand side, then you would install your EV circuit protection on the far right. And if you can create that space, so let's say that this is your last device, and let's say it's a hot water, and same thing, this could nearly draw 18, 19 or 20 amps itself. So the last thing you want to do is put them together. Keep that bit of separation. You're just trying to create more longevity in everything that we do, whether it's cable, where the location you're going to put that. If it's going to go outside, it's going to be affected by the sun, and might make a difference of installing it 3 meters where there's a bit more shade. So you're just trying to think of everything that you do on site. This is circuit protection. Create that space. If we're being told that your double pole protection devices are actually failing less than as opposed to using single pole, you're right, it's drawing that constant 32 amps, which is a lot of power, and it's not just drawing it for 30 minutes. It could be drawing 32 amps for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours at a time. So that's a lot of power to be able to come through that one device. So double pole is what we recommend, and if you can, 40 and go the 10mm just for that extra quality and that assurance that it's never going to fail for that customer. If you've worked out you want to go 32 double pole and you're using 6mm, and that's how you've done your quote, but then you might come across the site and the customer might just say, look, I've done a bit of research and I actually want to use 10mm. That's what I want. If that's what the customer wants, then you have to obviously then go readjust your price. Whether you've got it or you've got to go down and get some 10mm, then that's what you got to do, because that's what the customer wants. Very important around that.
Yeah, the other thing I'll just add is some vehicles, like the charge rated vehicles will change a fair bit. So like a BYD, for example, will typically cap out at 7 kilowatts. So it's giving you a bit of headroom there. It's not pulling right on the 32.
Yeah.
But the Teslas will run right up to 32. They'll take every single kilowatt. So it does change depending on the vehicle. If you are concerned, you can derate the charger during commissioning by a couple of amps if you're really concerned about it.
Yeah.
We can also do that remotely if you want us to dial in and change that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I just say is that some of the vehicles' charging speeds don't go right up to that 7.4. So it just gives you a little bit more headroom if depending on the vehicle. So so it's so important to understand the vehicle. And the other thing is you would have seen back in the day, or especially early EV charging days, Type B RCBOs were required for some chargers. That's the circuit protection that's going to trip for any DC leakage coming back out of the vehicle. The reason that's important is DC leakage will actually blind your RCBOs. They'll stop them from tripping for fault current. So our chargers have that built in. Most chargers now do have that built in. So you just use your standard RCBOs. You don't have to get these. These Type Bs were hundreds of dollars. They're super expensive. So
yeah, right.
You can just use your standard ones.
Type A. There you go. All right, so that's just a bit of a chat and some clarification around circuit protection for your EV charger.